Today we're making these tender, juicy, delicious, cheap AF ribeyes on a stick. Beef back ribs on the new Kamado Joe. Stick around. I paid $4 a pound for these ribeyes on a stick. These are beef back ribs. If you haven't made beef back ribs, this is off of the prime rib. If you see prime ribs, you can get them bone in and boneless. This is what happens to those ribs when they take them off of that prime rib. So this is fantastic meat that they consider scrap, so they sell for next to nothing. As a matter of fact, I just did a prime rib that you're gonna see in about 2 weeks. Here, let me show you where these come from. Now, these ribs right here that I pulled off, these are beef back ribs. So we can see on some of these, there's a little bit of silver skin. It's a little bit of a mess that we just need to clean up, but it's not a lot that we need to do. But where we do find silver skin, it's really easy to take it off. I just get my knife underneath. I cut one way. I try not to take very much meat, and then I just bring the knife back the other way. It's slow and delicate work, but it's worth it because you really don't want to throw away that ribeye meat. Other than the fact that this is delicious ribeye meat, one of the reasons I love making back ribs is because they think it's scrap. They sell it for next to nothing. But this is going to be a level of delicious that's way beyond when you try to make like pork ribs, for example. So this membrane on the back, we're going to keep on. Now we remove this when we're doing pork ribs. Beef ribs are going to get so tender that they're just going to come apart. And so what I'm doing is I'm cutting across here. I'm scoring so that it'll still hold on and hold the bones and the meat together. But there's so much meat back here that I do want to be able to get some of my salt and pepper and seasonings through here during the cooking process on the back. All right, so seasoning these are going to be pretty easy. I'm going to use Wagyu tallow here as a binder. I don't know that I need a binder, but certainly on the back where there's fat and salt isn't going to create a slurry. I need something for my spices to stick to, so I'm going to put that down first. And this is steak, so we're going to keep our seasoning really simple. I'm going to start with kosher salt and then a dusting of granulated garlic. We're not using garlic powder here, we're using granulated garlic. Anytime we're making a rub, we want the thicker granules. And then some fresh cracked pepper. Using my pepper cannon here, you see how much pepper I'm getting out of this. I absolutely love this thing. All right, I'm just gonna pat this down. All right, so let's give the salt, pepper, garlic time to absorb into that meat. Let the meat come up to temperature. Just brought it out of the refrigerator, so I wanted to get up to room temperature. In the meantime, let's go get this Kamado Joe set up and fired up. Okay, so we're gonna set up the Kamado Joe Big Joe 2 with the slow roller, not using the double indirect setup that you saw me use a couple weeks ago. So I'm gonna start by putting a little bit of cherry wood, just as my flavor would, on the bottom. A lot of people put it on top after you light the charcoal. That's a mistake. It's gonna burn up before you're ready to put your food on. And then we cover with charcoal. All right, let's get this lit. Yippee-ki-yay, Okay, so now I need to move the charcoal to the back because the airflow is going to make the back the hottest part, so I want more charcoal in the back than I want in the front. So let me grab my ash tool. Josh, where's the ash tool? Okay, no ash tool, but don't panic. Kamado Joe and Big Green Egg fans, if you lose your ash tool, I got a hack that's going to make this so easy for you. You only need 3 things. You need a stick, you need some cauliflower, and every man has a roll of duct tape. So check this out. We drill a hole in the bottom of the cauliflower, we put it on the stick, and then we use the duct tape to secure it, and we're gonna make our own ash tool, like this. And now I can use my ash tool to move my charcoal to the back. And now the charcoal's in the back where it's supposed to be. See, we found a use for cauliflower. Kamado Joe hacks, you heard it here first, Eat More Vegans. All right, let's close this down. Top vents all the way open, bottom vents all the way open, and we're gonna let this come up to temperature. All right, so my ceramic is heat soaked. I can touch this for about 3 seconds, and then it's hot, so I know that the grill is hot. So let's finish setting up the slow roller. So the first thing I'm going to do, right on top of the fire ring, I'm going to put the base of the slow roller. And then the top of the slow roller. Finally, the cap of the slow roller. This is going to act as our heat deflector, and the smoke is going to come up and through and out the sides. Now, instead of the divide and conquer rack, the slow roller actually comes with its own rack that sits right in the slow roller, and that will raise the grates up higher to allow for some clearance here on top of the cap. And then my grates are gonna sit right on top. All right, now I'm set up for low and slow cooking, not the double indirect that we're gonna do for higher heat, longer cooks, but this is gonna be perfect for rolling at about 250. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna reduce my bottom vent to about 1 finger width. And the top vent, I'm gonna close here, but I'm gonna leave wide open until we get up over 200 degrees, and then I'm gonna start moving it down and moving it down and moving it down until finally we get to about here when we're at 250 degrees. All right, we are stable at 250. We've got clean smoke. Let's get these ribs on here. All right, so I'm gonna set these up in this pattern here for a reason. I'm leaving this big open spot here because I'm gonna make a mop sauce that we're gonna be able to keep on the smoker with our ribs. So let's close this up and go get started on that. I'm gonna put a little bit of water in here, a bit of Worcestershire, a little apple cider vinegar, a little soy sauce. I'm keto, so I use tamari. And then I'm gonna put in a ½ pound of butter. This fat is gonna make a big difference as we mop. And as that butter melts down, we're gonna put in some cayenne pepper, paprika, a little dark chili powder, a little cumin, some oregano, a bit of kosher salt, and then some white sugar and some brown sugar. I'm of course using monk fruit sweetener because I'm keto. And then we're just gonna bring this to a simmer and make sure all that butter is melted. All right, we're gonna put this right here. That'll keep it warm, maybe take on some smoke. And when we get to an hour, we'll be back to put this mop sauce on those ribs. So the flavor wood we put in, those cherry chunks, those have burned up now. And we've got ash down here in the ash drawer. This is something that we can't do on the Big Green Egg, that we can only do on the Kamado Joe. So what I'm gonna do is I've got some cherry chips, and I'm just gonna drop them in the drawer here. And then you see how the ash is dropping on here? That's gonna drop, and these are gonna smoke and provide some additional smoke for us. But in the meantime, let's give them a little bit of a head start. I'm gonna put this back in, go back to that 1 finger wide, and we'll see you in another hour. All right, we're 3 hours in. It's dinner time, I think, maybe, I don't know. Let's see how tender these are. Like with any big cut, we're cooking to tenderness, not to temp. We are not quite there. I'm still getting a little bit here, but we're getting close. This one, I think it's gonna take another hour. So let's go ahead and mop again. Notice, by the way, that I've kept the mop sauce on the grill, so it is the same temperature as the meat. So I'm not putting cold sauce on hot meat. Since we're gonna give these another hour of smoke, let's go ahead and put some more wood chips down here in our ashtray. All right. See you in an hour. All right, we're at the 4 hour mark. I think, oh jeez. You guys, I'm sorry you don't get to taste this. Oh yeah, I'm going through this like butter. You can see it's pulling apart here. Yeah, these are ready. All right, we're gonna let these rest for about 10 minutes, and then it'll be time to slice and taste. People say a man's dog resembles him. I don't see the resemblance. What do you think, Teddy? Hey, if you're new here, this is Teddy. Teddy is my golden doodle who is probably the best fed. Yes, I know. There's beef coming. Yes, I know. All right, so Teddy, today we're eating beef ribs. I know you're excited. I'm excited too. Guys, if this tastes anywhere as good as it looks and it smells, we're all gonna be really happy. So I'm just gonna take this beef off. I can probably just do that with my finger. I don't need the knife. It looks so tender. Look at this. Look how good this looks. Cheers. Cheers, Teddy. There you go. Like I'm gonna tell you, yes, it's moist and it's tender, but the smoke on this, I mean, look at the smoke ring on this after only a 4-hour cook. The slow roller really just crams the smoke in there. This is so good. So if you missed the first cook on the Kamado Joe where I did the pork shoulder, I'm gonna put it right there. If you've already seen that one, I've got a video where I did ribs like this on the stick burner. You should see the difference. I'm gonna put that one right here. And we'll see you next time on Eat More Vegans. Right, Teddy? Eat more vegans. I know.